boilers which are used for the pressure which is more than 100 bar. So here we'll discuss today two types of boiler. First is the Lamont boiler. So the Lamont boiler is a four circulation type of boiler. This is a four circulation type of boiler, and it is a water tube boiler. This was introduced in 1925 by Lamont. The most sensible heat in this boiler is supplied to the feed water passing through the economizer. A centrifugal pump, it circulates the water equal to, that is, 8 to 10 times the weight of steam evaporated in the tubes. So this centrifugal pump circulates 8 to 10 times the weight of the water in comparison rate of the evaporated tubes. These boilers have been built to generate 45 to 50 tons of superheated steam at a pressure of 120 bar. At this pressure, these boilers can generate 45 tons to 50 tons of superheated steam and at a temperature of 500 degree centigrade. The main difficulty occurring in this boiler is there is the formation of attachment of bubbles on the, that is, the inner surface of the heating tubes. So on the heating tubes at the inner surfaces, there are the formation of the attachment of the formation of the bubbles which are attached on the surface, and because of that, these bubbles on the tube surfaces which reduces the heat flow, and that heat flow further causes the, or reduces the amount of steam generation because of the high thermal resistance which is offered by the water film because of the bubble. So as we know that in case of the boilers, the steam formation depends upon the heat transfer from the outside different gases to the water, and this formation of the bubbles layer reduces the heat transfer, and because of that the steam generation rate decreases. Now you can see here the working of this Lamont boiler. So you can see at the top side, this is showing the exhaust gases. These will move from this top side. Now how it works, so we start from the different units. You can see this chamber is so knowing is the air preheater where the air is preheated. The air or the cold air, this is coming from this outside atmosphere, and with the help of the blower will enter the air preheater here. Then from the hot well, water is coming. This water, with the help of the feed pump, is passed through the economizer section. This is the economizer section, and then it goes to the steam separating drum. This is the steam separating drum here. You can see the different units. This is the convection evaporator, the radiant evaporator. Here, this is showing the combustion chamber and the circulating pump, distribution header, and then the steam goes to the superheater section here. This valve. So now we will try to understand the working of this boiler. So water which is coming from the hot well, this water first passes through the economizer section here. It passes through this economizer section here. Then some of the heat it gains within this economizer section. Then after getting heat, water temperature will rise, and then it will enter the steam separating drum. Water will reach here then after passing through the economizer section. Then here the water, with the help of this distributing header, this water will now go to the downside, and with the help of the circulating pump it is supplied in the radiant evaporator here. So this section is the radiant evaporator section. Water will enter here and it will get the heat because its name is radiant evaporator. So from this combustion chamber section it will get the heat in the form of radiation, so its name is radiant evaporator. Then the water will get heated. After getting heat, this water will follow this passage here, and then it will enter the convection evaporator section, this section. So actually convection of the water will take place. Here the flue gases will give heat to the water inside the pipes of the convection evaporator. Then the water will be evaporated, and then after passing this convection evaporator, this water will enter to this steam separating drum. So actually what happened here, the water has been converted here in the steam. So this tank is called as the steam separating drum. So because of the light weight of the steam, it will lie here at this section, and the water which is heavier will lie at the bottom section. Here you can also see there is a valve which is used to remove the sludge from this tank. Now the from the top side, because it is the steam separated drum, so steam is taken out from this section, and then this steam is passing through this superheater section. So it will be superheated, and then this superheated steam will go to any application, maybe for the any prime mover or for the other application. Now from this combustion chamber, the flue gases or the hot gases will be produced, and the hot gases will move vertically downward from all these sections, from this convection evaporator, from this superheater, from this economizer, as well as through this air preheater, and then these will be rejected to the atmospheric air. So this is showing the working of the Lamont boiler. But now second, we are taking the high pressure boiler, and we are taking here the example of the Benson boiler. So the second is the Benson boiler. So because there was some problem or some difficulties arising in the Lamont boiler, and that is the attachment of the steam bubbles on the surface of the inner tips of the boiler. So in 1922, Benson argued that if the boiler pressure was raised to the critical pressure, that is up to 225 bar, and at this pressure the steam and the water both will have the same density. So this principle was used in this Benson boiler, and at this pressure it will eliminate the formation of the bubbles. So definitely it will increase the steam generating capacity of the boiler as well as the efficiency of the boiler. So during starting, the water is passed through the economizer, evaporator, superheater, and back to the feed line via starting valve A. Here next we will see in the figure the valve A as well as valve B. So valve A is the starting valve. Then during starting valve, what we do, we keep the valve B is closed, and as the steam generation starts and it becomes superheated, then what we do, valve A is closed and the valve B is opened. So this process is used only at the initial position. Now the maximum working pressure obtained so far from this commercial Benson boiler is up to the 500 bar. This amount of pressure can be obtained. This Benson boiler is having the capacity up to 150 tons per hour generating capacity for the steam, and the maximum temperature for the boiler can be attained as high as 650 degrees centigrade temperature of the steam. Now here you can see the Benson boiler. So in case of the Benson boiler, you can see the different part from the top side, the exhaust gases, and this is the air the heater section. This is similar to the Lamont boiler. The air will come from this atmosphere and will, with the help of the blower, will enter this air preheater. uh, Water from the hot well will come here, and with the help of the feed pump it will pass through this economizer section. Then it will move through this radiant evaporator here, then through the this is the superheater section evaporator. Then it will go to the convective evaporator. Then after passing through convective evaporator, it will enter the superheater, and then it will go for the application where it is required. So what important thing we are seeing is that there is no drum is used in this boiler. No drum is used. No drum. So it is a forced circulation type of boiler, and we use the very high pressure in this boiler. Because of that, there is a low formation of the bubbles. So water which will enter from the hot well with the help of feed pump. First, it will pass through the economizer. It will be heated slightly in the economizer, and then it will pass through this radiant evaporator through this portion. You can see here passing through this passage with the radiant evaporator. Then it will go following this passage to the convective evaporator, following this passage. Then after passing through the convective evaporator, it will pass through this, and then it will pass through this superheater section. And so initially what happens, initially the valve B is closed and valve A is open, because the water will not be heated much in the initial condition. So initially the valve A is open and valve B is closed. So after passing through the different section, means economizer, then radiant evaporator, then convective evaporator, then superheater, it will pass through this starting valve, and again it will follow this passage and will follow this passage, and with the help of the feed pump here, it will enter again to the economizer until its temperature is rise sufficiently sufficient temperature. Then in that condition the valve A is closed and valve B is open. Then this valve is opened after a certain temperature is achieved, and this valve A will be closed. Then water will pass again through economizer, then it will be getting heat in the radiant evaporator as well as the convective evaporator. Then it will evaporate completely. Then when it will pass through the superheater, it will form or generate the superheated steam. Then this superheated steam, with the help of the valve B, can be supplied to any application. So this is the working of the Benson boiler. Now there are some advantages of the Benson boiler. So Benson boiler, because in this case we are using no drum at all, and because of that it reduces the weight of the boiler. So 20% of weight reduction is achieved in this boiler. As we have already seen, because of the weight reduction, it will also require the less amount of the area. One more thing, because no boiler drum is being used, so the parts can be taken directly to the side, and then these parts can be assembled at the site. The superheater in the Benson boiler is an integral part of the forced circulation. Therefore, no special starting arrangement for superheater is required, and Benson boiler can be started very quickly because of the low welded joints. So this boiler is the very useful boiler, and in comparison to Lamont boiler, it has the several advantages as we have discussed, and we can also see some more advantage because as there are no drums, the total weight of Bunsen boiler is 20% less than that of the other boilers. The transfer of Bunsen parts is easy because as we have already said that no drums are required and majority of the parts are carried to the site without pre-assembly. The erection of Bunsen boiler is easier and quicker as all the parts are welded at the sides. No pre-assembly is in this case necessary. The furnace walls of the boiler can be more efficiently protected by using smaller diameter and close pitches. So these are approximately all the boilers application as well as the advantages of the working of the Lamont and Bunsen boiler. Thank you.